All right.
Mr. Fitzgerald is with us. All right, we're live, guys.
Ew.
Hey! Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cleric Talk. This is our third stream.
Yes.
Yes. I think every week we're getting a little bit better.
Maybe.
Hopefully, we have new and amazing things. We're talking about stuff today. We're talking about things.
First, we have to address the nails.
Okay.
So, I told you guys I was getting my nails did again by my friend Blaze, and I have to show them off because I did them for the playtest that we did this weekend.
Yeah, not playtest. We just did the book cover.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah, playtest is later.
Oh, that's right. Oh no, that's this weekend.
No, this weekend is Washington SummerCon. Which
I'll
is
get my
weekend.
dates right somehow.
Somehow. It's the weekend. It's 2 weeks after that. It's the end of the month.
Yes.
Is when we're doing a play
So
test.
what did we do this weekend though, Mikey?
This weekend we went to the beautiful Bothell, not Bothell. Yes, Bothell?
Yes.
We went to beautiful Bothell, Washington, to Zulu's board game store.
Amazing Zulu's board game.
It's a beautiful store.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan. They have food and yummy stuff.
Oh, the food's delicious.
Mm-hmm. But we played the first 2 chapters of Salt Marsh, which was great. I got to play, you got to play.
Yes.
Different tables.
And why are the theme of my nails what they're about to be when I show them?
Tell us.
Because it's Salt Marsh. It's going to be more on the ocean, and so I'm playing. Remember, you helped me with the Triton. And I have this, I got little anchors and treasures. I love them.
My favorite's the anchor.
Yeah, the anchor's awesome. They're very, very aquatic.
Yeah.
I love with little.
Blaze does an amazing job with that.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I think we should get my nails done.
We should do an episode like that.
Can we?
That would be fantastic.
Only one time.
And only one nail?
And well, no, I'll do both hands. I mean,
Okay.
it's go big or go home.
Yeah.
That's the way. That's my motto, I suppose.
Anyways, I don't think we introduced ourselves yet for the day.
I don't need an introduction because everyone knows who I am. The one, the only, the pink zombie, the Michael Gramling. Hi. It's nice to see everyone.
And I am Cindy Munoz, the High Priestess 710.
Yes. AKA the creative, AKA the show writer, AKA the Triton for fighting. I can't. I'm not that clever.
I was expecting something better. I mean, that was getting good. You were building up, and then you just like.
Story of my life.
Yes.
What are we talking about today?
I gotta, before we move on to the topic, Fitz Eagle, the gentleman who was talking with us last week.
Yes.
What was the feedback on the Triton and how it played and how all that worked out?
It actually went really well. We were at a table with Travis Woodall and Bill Benham and the Cleric, Joshua himself. He DM'd the game, and we were there with the Richmonds, and it was an amazing experience for me. Mikey, unfortunately, was not at our table that evening, but it was fantastic. I mean, my Triton, I ended up naming her Turcosia, and she ended up developing a background story of kind of being in favor for like the poor kids and like the street kids, and I nicknamed her the mom, which made it really appropriate for the background that we gave her and like everything that's kind of going on and the bossiness. And then I actually did a little bit more research on the Triton. And I realized that it was a perfect fit for what I ended up going and what you guys ended up helping me develop. I mean, it was really amazing. It all just came together so beautifully, and it was so much fun playing her. I mean, granted, at level 1, it's a little difficult to get much done, but we succeeded, and we had fun doing it. So
I don't know how, but we kept getting news about what was going on down. Like you guys were downstairs.
Yes, we
in
were.
the basement.
Yes.
Like true D&Ders.
It was so much fun down there too.
But we had an envoy that kept coming up and would like hail, downstairs has reached the mansion, and things like, it was wild.
Really?
Yeah, it was like we kept getting news of adventurers downstairs doing wild and crazy things.
I will admit, out of all the tables, we did not get to the ship yet because we were having way too much fun role-playing the game. I mean, there was family members and couples at that table, so it was definitely a very elongated game, but if you were there, it was one of those that, like, it was long, but you didn't want it to end. Like, it was so much fun. You know what I mean?
We started at about maybe 11:30, and I don't think you guys didn't finish until like 8.
Yeah, we ended up finishing like at 8 o'clock, something like that, and then you guys finished a few minutes after us, right? Yeah.
It was probably.
It was a 7-hour game, wasn't it?
It was more like 9.
Was it 9? Yeah.
It was
That's right. It
solid
started at
9.
11. You're right.
Yeah.
It was a really long game. I
was
mean,
good.
counting breaks, it's not like they're gonna slave drive us.
There was no breaks. There was no breaks at my table. There was a 5-minute break at one point. The DM was like, I gotta use the bathroom, guys.
Oh yeah. See, no, when the DM needs to pee, then that's when the breaks can commence. You know what I mean? Everybody else was.
It was pretty much nonstop rolling, and I died a couple of times.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't hit death, but I got downed.
Oh no, I got down to
times.
3 hit points, but I was lucky. I mean, I was lucky. 2 of us went down in the group, but then we were able to get them back up, and I mean, literally by a hair. By a hair, you know what I mean? Did we make it to where we make it?
We made it maybe 7 minutes in, and one of our players got downed. 7 minutes in, it was gnarly. So that was
fun.
That's a precursor to my whole experience.
Is that gonna be part of what we discussed today?
I believe so. We have decided on what we're gonna discuss today. Which is table etiquette.
Table etiquette.
Yeah.
I think that kind of goes along with, you know, the method of planning when you're gonna get ready to go to an AL game. We've done how to find games, we've done creating the characters, and now and getting to the locations, and now we are gonna talk about some etiquette. I mean, I will be honest, I'm very guilty as charged of breaking some of these rules. But
breaking all of the rules.
That's what I do, is I break rules because that's what they're meant for.
It all began with the nails. That's when she was like, I'm the one here, I'm the queen.
Well, you know, the sharper the nails, the more you're in charge, right?
That's very true.
I don't think that's true, but I'm going to start that.
What if that was the case? I want to run a D&D game.
Someone screenshot this and make a meme of it.
No. Oh, yes.
Get out of my picture.
I want to be a part of it. We'll have a little slider bar from important and powerful to the actual DM as a player.
Yeah, I think we should talk about both sides of it.
Yes.
I think it's really important because it's not just about the etiquette that the players show at the table. It's also about the etiquette of the DM themselves, because sometimes, depending on where you go and how the process is, sometimes you can have some DMs that maybe need to be reminded also.
Yes, that's very true. All right, so let's kick it off with anything we should be aware of in chat.
Fizego wants to know if there's any other events like this going on.
Like the one that we did this weekend, no. But we are always open to suggestions, and we would love to start events like this and kind of set these up at different gaming stores. You know, if you have any suggestions, we would love to do that and approach your gaming store and also let them know to give us a contact. Let them know that you would love to have Cleric Games there to help put together some events, and we would love to come down and do that.
We do have big plans.
We do have big plans, though. This next weekend, or this coming weekend, we are going to be at Washington SummerCon, which is at the Puyallup Fairgrounds, the Washington State Fairgrounds, and we are going to have some some fun, I think. We're going to have some kid-style games there, too. So if you have little ones, like whether it be family members or friends or, you know, nieces, nephews, doesn't matter.
And I think we're starting at 10 and ending at like 6. So there's a really big block of time that we'll be playing games.
Saturday and Sunday, right?
I believe so.
10 to 5 on Sunday.
10 to 5 on Sunday. Sundays are always shorter days.
Yeah.
That's to be expected.
So another point of reference is this weekend, Saturday, is RPG Day.
Oh, that's right. RPG Day is this Sunday. This Saturday.
Yeah. It's RPG Day. There's I believe DM's Guild is doing are they doing a free download for RPG Day? Maybe.
Didn't do anything, but there's a lot of local gaming stores right now that are doing events, and they'll be running RPGs all day.
That's fair. So, RPG Day, a thing to definitely look out for is your local game stores. A lot of places will be doing something cool. We're going to be busy doing fun things at SummerCon, but
yes.
We'll be. We're actually the Pacific Northwest organizers for a lot of events, at least up in Washington and along the coast.
Yeah,
For now, we're going to be branching into Oregon soon.
We're hoping, yeah.
Yes.
We're hoping that by next year for Renaissance Fair, we'll be there also, because this will be our second year at Renaissance Fair here in Washington.
Yes.
Which, from what I've been told, don't quote me on this, but I've been told that is the third largest Renaissance Fair on the West Coast, I believe, or in the United States. At least that's what I've been told, but that would, I mean...
It is a pretty big, and it's one of my favorite events.
It is huge. I've been to the one out in California, in Southern California. That's where I grew up in, and that one was pretty large. But this one, I have to say, supersedes it in different ways. It is large of an area. There's a lot more tavern areas to go to, whereas in California you can walk around with your drink, whereas in Washington you can't. You kind of got to stick into a certain area to have alcoholic beverages, but that's okay. The funnest part that I could say the differences between the two Renaissance fairs that I've been at is that here in Washington you get to camp, and you don't have to be a Renaissance fair person, like an employee there that camp there. You get to be an everyday person. You do pay an extra fee, but you get to camp. And at nighttime, if you are over the age of 21, you get to go drinking at the tavern too, which is a blast. I mean, you can go and everyone's dressed up, and you literally feel like after the sun's been beating on you, you feel like you've been slaying dragons all day with your friends and your adventure team. And everyone's there drinking, and everyone's friends, and the live music. I mean, it literally is an escape of reality, and like really bringing role playing like to a complete different experience.
I love the music. The after hours music at the tavern bar is my favorite.
Oh yeah.
It's really
it's
really
different
an
music
experience.
though, right?
Yeah,
it's always different music on the 3 weekends. You get 3 weekends too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But the music's always different, but it's always the feel. It's just always, the music is always...
It's popping, dude.
Yes.
It's low key like Ren Fair popping up there.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, even though it's like the end of the day, everyone's still pretty much in character.
Seriously, and the drunker they get, the more they become.
The more boisterous things get. I love it. It's the best.
And then walking back to camp.
That's
an experience in itself, and that is amazing also. But those are another stories for another time.
When the fog rolls in the dark night, and you can't step right because you're drunk.
And everyone is laughing for no reason. But yeah, so today, table etiquette.
Yes.
What are we going to start with?
Well, I think what we should start with... Here you go ahead.
For me? Okay, I think we
should... I think table etiquette... Sorry.
Yeah. And I think
so when we... Can I speak?
That is definitely one of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, please, go ahead.
Are we going to keep going?
No, I'm sorry. I'm rinsing the joke. Here, you go ahead. Table etiquette.
We were going to start with something else, but that is a good place to start. I think when you're going into a group of people, probably be mindful of space And that could be noise space, like how much are you talking over other people, allowing other people to talk. The space of where you are, like literally your area. Because when you walk into a group of people, kind of see what the size of the table is, and everybody wants to be able to roll their dice on the table. Everybody needs some space for their paper or their iPad or whatever it is that they're bringing there.
I've been at a table where there was a gentleman that took up like half of the table. He had his iPad and like 2 dice towers and a dice jail and like reference books, and it was a lot.
Yeah, my new thing is I like to bring like a carry-on suitcase, because it literally has wheels to help roll you through the cons or through these events, and your like 5 or 6 books or more can fit in there. Your iPad fits in there, and that way you keep it tight next to you, and that way you're not taking up your backpack, another bag, and all kinds of things around you also on the floor where people now can't move their chair in properly or have some leg space for themselves,
And spoiler alert, we have a product that we are working with, C4 Labs.
Oh.
It is an explorer's kit, and it is actually a condensed, travel-sized, little zip-up, like kind of a book that has everything you need to play. I'm a huge fan. There's going to be a Kickstarter. We'll address this in other episodes, but just spoiler alert. Keep on the lookout for some really swag gear.
Yeah, it's all about trying to minimize the space you're taking and having everything organized, because that's another thing at the table that you should be aware of is like maybe your disorganization, which I'm super guilty of, can take up time. You know what I mean? It could be like, oh no, where's this? Where's that? Again, very guilty of this myself. And everyone's kind of sitting quietly waiting on you to get your shit together.
Yeah.
And that's something that you should be mindful of.
What's the next topic?
Because of speaking of space, sometimes we are in very tight spaces.
Very condensed. Chairs would be close.
And there's not very much air circulation sometimes in these places.
At the place we were at, we had 9 tables. God, the room wasn't much bigger than the one we were in. There was a solid 40 some odd people in in a very small room, and it took up the whole space.
Yes.
So it can get real cramped.
Well, in Zulus, luckily there is a little bit more airflow there, so it doesn't get as hot. And with heat comes sweat, and with sweat comes odor. So that is one of the etiquettes that I think is really important, that has been addressed from a lot of the organizers to the people that are adminning to even the DMs who are just like, oh, I was sitting at a table and it seemed like there was someone that maybe didn't put on some deodorant. I mean, it's really important for your personal hygiene to kind of be up to be ready to handle a situation of being in a very enclosed, uncirculating of air area. A lot of these conventions, they tend to put us in rooms. It's not up to us where they put us. We kind of got to follow what they do, and they put these dividers up in these big rooms that you would think would have some airflow, and when they put up the dividers, there is no airflow. Or if it's at a hotel, some of these rooms don't have air conditioning, or sometimes we'll try to bring fans and stuff like that, but then that adds to the noise, which then makes it difficult for DMs and other players. So we try to keep it just where it's at. And so when something like that happens, it does the odor tends to kind of get a little funky. And and when you're sitting next to somebody who has taken a shower and has taken the time to put on some deodorant, and another thing is, don't go heavy on the perfume either. Like perfume, body axe, that could also be just as disruptive to the senses as not putting anything on at all.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually just came out with a new rule that if somebody smells in one of their tournaments, they can get kicked out.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Made that a rule?
So that's interesting. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, apparently they just put out a rule that if you have a powerful body odor, that you can get removed from the tournament.
Which,
A lack of hygiene is a lack of, respect for the game.
well, respect for yourself, and that then shows the kind of respect you have for the people around you also. So I think it's really important that, as uncomfortable of a topic as it may be, personal hygiene is very important for etiquette-wise at the table for the rest of the group.
One great thing that I've seen about, because this topic has been brought up in several instances.
Yeah.
I've seen a personal change in the hygiene of the players. At first, I felt it might be a little insulting, but I mean, since this has been addressed for a couple of years now, actually, it's not that I never run into body odor problems these days, but it's much less than anything I used to run into. So, huge high five to.
I always carry mine.
I always borrow hers. It's true. It's true. So, kudos to those of us, to everyone who's kind of really bumped up and started taking care of the personal hygiene.
Well, I think it was, from what I heard about a few years ago, I've heard that there was a rumor that I personally didn't go to this con. I don't know, I can't remember the name of the con, but I was told that there was a con that they were actually giving a stick of deodorant in the bag.
I went to that. I don't remember what the con it was.
Oh,
yeah,
you were there? Okay.
I was there.
So, I think that's where a lot of it started too, where it was like just having to kind of bring it up, a little passive aggressive, but it gets the point across.
I liked
you know
it.
what I mean?
I thought that was.
I mean, you can't say you
great.
forgot if they gave you a free
Totally.
stick in the bag.
That's true.
So, but yeah, personal hygiene. What's
Josh
up?
says the con was Dragonflight.
Oh, it was Dragonflight.
Was it Dragonfly?
Dragonflight 2018. 20.
No, I was gonna say not 2018 because I think I was there 2018,
Did you?
but I didn't get a deodorant. That must have been 2017 then because I wasn't there.
2020.
You
It was
nerd.
in 2020.
So
Next
you
on the
know,
list.
let's see. Oh, body contact.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're coming to a table, people like to shake hands and high five, hugs. Consent is always a good thing too. Sometimes I'm not really good about that. I'm Hispanic and I'm old school, and sometimes I just go in for hugs. And I've been politely told, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. There's no reason to get insulted. You know what I mean? There's no reason. Everyone's got their own thing, and I totally respect that. And, fist bumping, handshakes, high fives are always welcome. And I think it kind of helps bonding, too, at the table.
No. Yeah, it's a hill spot.
Yeah. Introduction kind of goes alongside with that. Normally with introduction, if you're sitting at a table, it's always nice to introduce yourself. But if you are honestly sitting there, once the DM comes, the DM will normally go ahead and get everybody set up, and we'll give you the time to introduce your characters.
Yeah, when I run my games, I'll usually, before we really get into the game, I'll okay, everybody, let's do some introductions, and I go around the table. But that's not always the case for all DMs.
No, and now this is one of those etiquette advices for the DMs. I have had DMs, because they are running late sometimes, they miss that completely, and they just rush into their game. And whether you're running late or not, it's super important that you give your players the opportunity, especially at an AL type of game where it's just random people, that you give them the opportunity to kind of introduce themselves. People are really excited to talk about their characters. As a player, I want to have that time to be like, I don't want to just be on a piece of paper, this is my name, this is what I am, and then give it to the DM, and that should be good enough for everyone to see it. I like to kind of talk about my character so that way it gives everyone in the group an opportunity to be like, oh, I can relate to that, or I can say that that's how we know each other, and it kind of gives a little bit more of a unity, I believe, to the table.
It does. It definitely helps build kind of a narrative to the start of the adventure.
And it helps you as a DM, I think, also, right, Mikey? What you would say to know where to go and what to start when you're getting these characters together?
Yeah, in most of the sessions that I DM, I love learning a little bit about the characters and trying to include them into the story as much as I can. So your Triton that you built,
Yeah.
grew up on the streets, aka mom, things of that nature.
Right.
I would love to add a scenario where there's like, either like a homeless kid or a scenario for your character to really shine, and be mom. That's something that I love to do.
Yes.
And without those character introductions, never happen.
I would agree. Yeah.
One of those other don't touch things. Don't touch people's dice without their consent.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. That's a good one.
Body contact includes your
item contact.
Your things.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're looking at something that someone has because you think it's cool, that's great. But make sure that they understand that you're like, hey, can I take a look at that?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then that way, and normally people are pretty, open to be like, yeah, here you go, take a look. I've never been told no. I've never been told no. At least
fair.
I've never been told no as long as I ask.
I had somebody yell at somebody else for touching his D6, and he was like, if you touch my D20, you'd be dead. But you touch my D6, it's okay.
Yeah, there are, it's definitely respect, it comes with respecting the people around you. It's definitely asking to use their stuff. There's been a time where people spend a lot of money on their dice, on their accessories, on their gear and things like that, and it's beautiful and amazing, and I love seeing it. However, things mean a lot to people, and just reaching out and touching it or not asking permission. And even when you ask permission and they're like, actually this there was a set of opal dice that another player had, and I was like, oh my god, those are beautiful. May I see them?
The opal dice.
and they very respectfully said, you can look, please don't touch. And I was like, I respect that.
Yeah, no, and I mean, some people have like their I don't want your bad luck on there, or it could be that these just mean a lot to me, and it also can mean they're not accusing that you're going to steal, but if something goes missing, you don't want to be the person that they want to turn to and look at also and be like, maybe it was you, because that's another opportunity of building some sort of contentiousness at the table, I would say, and you just don't want to avoid all that kind of stuff, I would say.
So we were talking about character introductions.
Character introductions go along with self-introduction. Normally, when I'm introducing my character, I like to be like, my name is Cindy, and my character is, and then you proceed on with your character, whether it be with its whatever voice you want your character to be. Or...
Cindy introduces herself as, hi, my name is Cindy, but you can call me what's the name of your Triton?
No, that's not my Triton.
That's Esperanza does that.
Esperanza.
Yes, with the clickies.
I go, I go. Every time. Well, that's what. Think of a tabaxi just clapping their little paws. What's up?
Wait, what's going on?
People are just commenting in chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
perfect.
yeah, Fritz. I mean, Hero Forge minis are super expensive. And if someone were to pick up one of my minis and break it on accident,
okay.
I would definitely be pissed off.
So on that note, we got we had a custom miniature made for the owner of Cleric Games. It was phenomenal. We had 5. I broke 4 of them.
Oh, are you talking about the
Cleric Mini? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this kind of goes along. So last year at
I felt terrible by
at a Renaissance fair, we have a lot of parents who didn't understand the rule of maybe let's not allow our little ones to touch some of the miniatures that were on the tables. And a lot of our characters, some of these minis can be very gentle, and they are printed from 3D printers, and maybe they're not the strongest thing, especially like with the gifts that we had.
Yeah.
They were little like hippo gifts, like little miniatures, and they had a pipe, and the pipes kept breaking, and every time we would put one for display, I had to like tell people like, here's a box, but you can't touch it, because I was just, you don't want to break that, because at least if you take it home, you can glue it in, fix it, and do all the stuff that you need. But while it's sitting, every time I put out a mini, that's us breaking a mini. And Mikey, was very guilty of breaking a couple of the clerics.
And none of it was ever malicious. It was like, wow, this is amazing. And like I'd go to set it back down, and like the tip of my thumb would touch.
Break the
dual maces.
The dual maces.
They're dual maces. We'll get a picture of that up at some point. It's a really cool miniature.
Yeah.
But since then, like I'm very timid about, like, I don't want to like touching other people's minis and moving their stuff and stuff, because
and sometimes the paint, like, I don't know, there's just a lot of things that go along with minis. That is definitely really important. I mean, dice are important too, you know what I mean? I get it, but minis are definitely one of those things that if you see someone's mini on the table because they're using it to play, don't just grab it off the table and be like, hey, let me look at that. You know, you want to be like, can I take a look? And they will grab it and they will show you how to hold it, because you will watch how they hold it, and that is probably the same way you want to hold it. So, I mean, and sometimes there's terrain on them that's really delicate. I mean, there's a lot of things that go with the minis that I would say be very mindful of where hands go.
Be very mindful of your hands, where they go. Well, actually, another spoiler. So hopefully sometime this week we will have a list of upcoming projects and cool things that we would like to be streaming throughout the week and doing multiple things and hanging out with people. And one of the things that we are possibly working on is a show about painting minis.
Yes.
So if you like painting minis, look, check us out later.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, I'm sure we'll do an episode on that. Yeah. Or a show or something.
I like painting minis.
Yeah. JW Verde said something in chat about when other people crit for you when they roll your 20s. That's very upsetting. But yes.
Oh yeah, it can be a little rough.
This gentleman also is a great painter.
Oh, Mr. Verde?
Yeah.
He's a terrible painter.
No, he's really good. He's like awful. The worst artist in the world. He's got like 2 left hands. He's like, But when it comes to painting minis, for some reason, he is...
I wish I could show you. He did a phase spider, but he changed some of the colors on it, and to me, it's phenomenal.
See, I'm more of a realism type of thing, so I like things to look more of what like real world stuff would look like. He's way more fantasy, and so like when you're looking at it at a distance, it's definitely way more appealing.
Oh God,
on the map when he does it.
It's really cool.
Yeah, he's good.
The only thing I will say about Mr. Verde and his painting is that he is very he takes a long time to finish painting.
Oh, you got a compliment on your hair really quick.
Oh, thank you. By whom?
By Joe.
Oh! My boy. That's my boy.
Those wild people sticking together. Yeah!
Every week we'll change my hairstyle.
Yeah, right.
First it was Oompa Loompa, then it was, I don't know what I would call pulled back.
This is
and
like
now,
Jon Snow.
Yes, this is Jon Snow. Coming to you from the wall.
Oh, winter is coming,
yes.
Mikey.
with the dragons and the walkers.
Oh my God! Okay, we can stop. Yeah. So I'm sure it's a better version of Scott, anyways. If we did.
I'm I have a passion project to reshoot the final season.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be.
It'll probably be way better
low.
Than whatever.
It's very low budget.
Again, it'll probably be better. But hey, that's for confessions. Anyway, so speaking of that. That would lead us into conflict. Conflict when there's conflict at the table. The biggest thing that arises in conflict at the table, I have to say, is the argument between a DM and a player when it comes to rules. I get it. It's the DM definitely is the one who has the final say in things. So when you're as a player sitting down at a table and you are watching 2 people argue for like 30 minutes, it's very uncomfortable. And I'm speaking from a player's point of view. I've never been one to argue with the DM for a long period of time. I don't know the rules well enough. So I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to sit there and argue with anybody. If they're like, you're wrong, I'm going to be like, you know better than me, so go for it. But there are those people that do tend to argue. If you don't have the rules that are set in front of you to then correct the DM politely, that is the key word, politely, there is no reason to argue at the table. It doesn't matter what you do at your homebrew game or what another DM did. That is not there. It is not that DM's table. It is the DM that you were playing with table.
Conflict is probably the hardest.
Now, from a DM's point of view, what do you think? Or, like, what do you have to say on something like that?
In terms of DMing, I've had instances where I've mixed up a rule. I've played a lot of different editions, and it's very common that I'll slip up and I'll be like, oh, these are the 3.5 rules, but it's and generally that's where I see the most conflict. Like jumping over a 5-foot gap in 5th edition, a standard player is like, okay, I hop over the gap. In other instances, like the DM will have you like roll and you'll have chances to fail. And honestly, like that entire subject is a whole other episode in itself, like over rolling and doing things like that. But in terms of just the baseline of conflicts, arguing with the DM should be very, very short, very quick.
Yeah, I don't even think it should be arguing. I think it should be just a simple discussion. And it shouldn't be anything more than that. And JW makes a really good point where it's like, I don't want to wait 10, 15 minutes for you to go running through a forum, searching in a forum, whatever Travis
that should not
and like
happen.
To try to find the rule to that. I mean, I get it, but maybe not have the rest of the table wait. Again, that goes along with having respect for other people's space and time. I think that the game needs to flow, especially when it's an Adventure League game. If you're somewhere like at a store, like at a shop or at a con or at an event, I think the time needs to be really well thought about and respected about what's going on around you, because of the fact that they are on a schedule and everybody's there to play and everybody wants to make sure that they finish the module as intended. You know what I mean? And sometimes the administration of the organization people like don't have the capability of being like, yeah, you guys can play all night long. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have to rush you guys out because the people that organize the con itself are like, you guys need to be out at a certain time, and that can go for many different reasons: insurance, time renting, whatever it may be. There's a reason behind it. We're not trying to be mean, and we're not trying to leave. So there's times where we want to stay till 1 a.m. ourselves. You know,
there's times that we have stayed until 1 a.m.
We have, and we try to let you guys play as much as possible. But if you're taking up time because you're arguing, that's not proper etiquette.
I will say, like, a quick way to address if there is something that you need to bring up to the DM, simply just being like, hey, I think it's supposed to be done like this. You know, just posing it real quick, real sweet. Generally, it's an easy, no-brainer way to kind of resolve the situation and go. And also, remember that you are not bound by any laws to stay at the table. If you're playing with a DM who is unruly, you can get up and you can walk away.
And if you're at one of our events, please let us know that kind of information. We like to keep like suggestion cards up, and we want to know how our DMs are going, because the DMs that we choose to come play at our games, it's very open. We want everyone to have an opportunity to DM. But if you're a poor DM, I will be honest, you will not get invited to come to some of our events, and we don't want DMs that are not going to have our players have a fun time, especially if it's first-time players. Mm-hmm. If we're hearing a lot from first-time players that the DM was too hard or was not fun or was way too rule lawyery and the rule of cool went out the window, because to us, I think at Cleric Games, the rule of cool is really big for us. You know what I mean?
That really is something that we kind of abide by. Where
yeah.
As much as we stick to the rules in the book, there are instances where you need to realize that we're playing a game, we're having fun, and the rule of cool just kind of helps that go along.
And you know what that leads us into?
What?
That leads us into alignments.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What are alignments?
Alignments are how your character pretty much decides things, you know? Are you neutral? Normally in an AL game, you want to kind of be neutral good. You can even be a little neutral chaotic, you know, but being a plain evil character, if you're going to be evil at an AL game, it's okay. I think it's okay to be evil, but
be lawful.
Well,
I would say.
Well, yeah, be like a charming evil character, not one that's gonna want to hurt the rest of the group. Like maybe the rest of the group, you see them as people that are there to accomplish your greedy need. You know what I mean? But hurting the people in your group is never going to be acceptable at any table that you go at.
That's a real quick way to kind of like ruin the mood and everything. Definitely experience. I mean
the immersion of the game. Everybody else is kind of worried. You don't want to kill regular characters. I mean, we can go on for stories. I know with young kids, they tend to kind of go out there a little bit and want to do crazy things. But as an adult, we would hope that you guys are a little bit more have the wherewithal to understand that maybe bringing your evil character and like killing an NPC for no reason that is not meant to be killed is gonna be a big problem for the rest of the group. That being said, being lawful good can sometimes be also a problem because sometimes the rest of the group wants to steal something. Stealing something may not always be an evil act, or maybe killing someone to keep their mouth shut so that the rest of the group doesn't get alarmed and end up having to go through this entire thing. I mean, you got to kind of see the like almost like the Aladdin or the Robin Hood effect, where it's like you got to see it as like you're doing something bad for a better good. You know what I mean? And kind of put that in there, because we've had some players that are lawful good that are like, no, and then they go and tattletale, and you're like, what? And it just completely like takes the entire game off, and it kind of throws the DMs off sometimes when you do things like that, you know?
Role-playing your alignment can be kind of tricky. A really good baseline to go for is you can role-play your character lawfully good. As like, if I'm not going to steal, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to kill this person, so long as you can role-play it in a sense that allows the party as a democracy to decide what to do. Yeah. You can still, like, if so long as you abide by the democratic kind of view, you can always like remove your character from the scene to still keep it role-play-esque and fun.
So I think what you should take out of the whole alignment thing is make sure that whatever you're going to do with your character within the alignment is that it is going along with the rest of the group, you know? If you're, a good example is if you are evil, you can totally tell your group, I hate all of you, and I want to kill you. But in reality, you're never going to kill them, because deep in your heart, you would never do something that your character would never do something like that, but they would mouth it just to try to look tough. You know, I mean, there's things you can role play it like that, but you also want to be as somewhat politeful and not hurt anyone's feelings. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's ways of kind of walking that line, you know?
So I'm going to back up to a conversation. The conversation commander wants to know, he's creating an old classic Tomb of Horrors game. Ooh. And he needs 2 more playable characters, and he wants your guys' opinion on it. So he's got a druid, a paladin, a thief, a bard, and a sorcerer. So he's looking for 2 other classes to take into that.
For Tomb of Horrors, I would say a druid would probably be fun.
So it's already in there.
Okay, so a druid is one of them.
So what are we missing right now?
I think a tank, mostly. Oh, they got a paladin. So.
Okay.
Do they have a fighter?
Nope. No fighter, no wizard, no warlock.
So maybe a monk would be better than a fighter, maybe? I would say a monk would probably be a good one to have. Oh, God, he just tickled himself.
No, I like monks. I like monks in confined spaces. I love higher level monks in confined spaces. Yeah. The mobility that a monk has in a dungeon is it's beautiful. That's all I can honestly say, is monks are very fun about moving around. So monk would be fun to have in Tomb of Horrors. And then
Barbarian's always fun, just because I mean, they can kind of
Does
tank
he have
with
a
the
barbarian
paladin.
in there yet?
I didn't see that. I mean, a barbarian can always be there to kind of back up the paladin.
So, in my opinion, one of two things. If the druid you have in your game is like a wild shape druid and the whole, like, they're an HP, like, sponge, which is my favorite way to play a druid. If you've got that, then I wouldn't bring a barbarian. But if you're a caster druid and doing something else, I would bring a barbarian. Being able to rage and just kind of walk forward in the Tomb of Horrors, your chances of, like, you get to solve traps very bluntly, and it can kind of help the players just kind of transition between scenes without, like, immediately, like, killing the character. So I would put a barbarian and a monk, I think, in there.
Yeah, I would agree. Those would probably be the two that I would stick there.
So, monk with high wisdom, will have high perception, things like that.
Yeah, and then the barbarian, I think.
Scratch it. I figured it out. All of them, I got it. Every character should play barbarian. All of them. It should be an entire group of barbarians. And why? Why, you ask? Because I have DM'd a group of 6 players that were all barbarians, and it was the greatest session I've ever played. Oh my God, that's what should happen. All barbarians.
They will find every trap with their face.
They will find every trap with their face. They will kill anything they encounter. We had one barbarian who was role-playing as a wizard, and would walk around and cast Great Axe, or Maul, or Short Sword, or Dagger. My favorite was like, I cast Dagger. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
So, I would like to cast Open Lock. Like what? I bash my face into it. It unlocks.
I've always had fun when there's a barbarian in the room. I personally never played a barbarian.
You gotta.
I know, I gotta try it.
It's so freeing. It's no armor. It's just you.
Just chaos.
Just you and your weapon and just the open road. It's great.
It says a lot about you, Mikey.
Okay, that's true.
All right. So, yeah.
All right, bringing it back.
Well, we got conflict, we got alignment. The only other things I have here on my list is the eating, drinking, and bathroom breaks. Eating and drinking
should happen at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, eating and drinking at the table is totally fine. My only problem with people with the eating and drinking is that they will build up trash around them the entire game and not take a quick break to gather their trash and throw it away.
I did that one time, Cindy. One time. We can let it go now.
Yeah, no, it's one of my biggest pet peeves. I try to constantly be cleaning up, like if I've been eating like a granola bar or something like that, I try to shove it in my backpack or something so that way, at least when I walk away with my backpack, I'm like, okay, trash can, you know, and or if I'm taking a bathroom break, I'm grabbing my trash with me and I'm taking it to the bathroom. With that being said,
bathroom breaks.
Also bathroom breaks and leaving the table. It is okay if you have to go, you go. But the problem is that if you're going to do that, make sure that you're keeping an eye on the initiative lineup. You know, are you going to be next? Probably don't get up and go to the bathroom or go throw your trash out. Probably wait, roll your turn. When everything is said and done, you get up and you go. And then that way when you come and you ask someone like, hey, let me know what happens to me in case you get attacked during that time, you know, and that way you have an opportunity, you can have that opportunity to go to the bathroom, or you wait till it's break time when it's a short rest time in the game, or when the DM's like, you know what, I got to go to the bathroom. Again, when the DM has to go to the bathroom, it is a good time for you to go take a break. Go grab yourself something to eat, go to the bathroom yourself, whatever it may be. Take advantage of the DM having to leave the table. Because if the DM's leaving the table, it's A-okay for everybody else to leave the table. If the DM has not left the table, it is kind of up to you realizing where you, like, what your turn is and where you're at and the story and what's going on in the module or story that you're playing to be able to get up and go.
That's fair.
I'm the worst at that.
We're all guilty of it at some point.
So I get up and like walk around and stuff. And
No, that's okay. I will get up from the table while we're still playing and kind of walk around the table so that way I'm still listening to what's going on and kind of like being able to like say something if I need to add to the story. But yeah, getting up and walking around the table and stuff like that I just think is fine. But if you're getting up and walking around the whole area of Ben Kenobi, that's the problem.
Generally, whenever I have to get up from the table, like either A, I'll just declare like, oh, I'm doing like a standard attack or whatever, or if it's like in a role play scenario, I'm like, okay, I'm following this character kind of a thing. But I get up from the table pretty often.
Yeah, and you know what also goes in line with that? Being on your phone through social media.
That is
somebody in our group of people is very guilty of that.
Shots fired.
He knows who I'm talking to.
Yeah, no, I think excuse me. I think being aware of your engagements, being engaged in the game is crucial. Because this requires a lot of energy from a lot of players, and when you've got a player sitting there like this, it kind of starts to dwindle.
Well, and not paying attention when everyone's kind of engaged in the storyline, and then there's something going on, and then again that goes along with having respect of people's time management and stuff like that, and they have to be like,
wait, what?
Hey, did you not hear? Pay attention. You know what I mean? Like, it's your turn, or they said something to you. That's not keeping in mind of people's time at the table.
Touch me?
What's that?
Why you touch me?
Just shoulder check that.
Boom! Well, I will, I'm sorry, but all bets are off. If you are on your phone and I see you next to me on social media and something was said to you and you're not freaking paying attention, whether you like to be touched or not, I'm going to nudge the shit out of you and be like, pay attention. I'm a mom and Hispanic once again, and pay attention.
She beats me. I'm just kidding. We're good friends.
Yeah, I mean, but seriously, like that right there, bathroom breaks, leaving the table for any reason, or being on your phone. It's all about paying attention and knowing where the story is and where you're supposed to be at that time. People have no problem helping you out. There's been times where I have to go so bad, well, I'll tell Mikey or whoever might be next to me that I trust, like, hey, this is what I want to do if this is what the opportunity is. Can you do that for me? And then you look at the DM and you tell the DM, I'm walking away, I have to use the restroom. I already let them know to do this for me. Because there will be DMs that are like, because they didn't know that they're trying to respect your timing and like what you want to do, and they're not gonna be like, no, Mikey, you can't make the decisions for Cindy, you know. But if I let the DM know that like, hey, he's gonna do that for me, everything's kosher, consent was made, it's all good. So I mean, there are things that you can do to kind of loophole through these etiquettes to make sure that you still are just as polite as you possibly can be and respectable of everybody else at the table.
Yeah, don't be afraid to get up and walk away if you need to fart.
Please.
I mean, if you want to crop dust like the main area in the front store and then come back, that's fine. But
this guy just said crop dust.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were there for 9 hours and I had to fart a couple of times.
You just said to get up and go do it.
I know, I cropped us the hell out of
apparently we don't always follow the rules.
I had to tell little Timmy, I'm sorry, but I'm just kidding. I stepped outside. I had Indian food before I went. It was not the greatest decision I've ever made. Oh, I guess we could be wary of the food that you do eat, the food that you bring with you.
Yeah.
It's all in line with smells, and there's a bunch of things happening all the time, and, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Napkins are important.
Napkins
are important.
I hate napkins. I don't know why.
Oh. And when someone, it's like, even if you're like helping push a miniature and I've seen someone eating food and they didn't wipe their hands clean.
Oh, yeah.
That just.
Too much. So those are some basic things about table etiquette. I'm sure there's more. If there's a topic or a something we didn't mention about in table etiquette, but you want us to kind of talk about, throw it in the chat. We'll address it.
Fritz, I will throw a chancla.
Chanclas.
I told you, Storm.
Spicy.
I have no problem.
What's your time check?
Got about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Is
Wow, that was
time?
the best. That was, yes, it is. Well, it is time for that. We've been kind of working on our timing because our last episodes we haven't been able to kind of finish our collective thoughts.
No.
So I'm glad that we got here. There was a noise and I had to look. So
It was a scratch.
we're doing the confessional.
Yes.
So I usually start. I don't want to start this time. You have to start.
Okay.
Tell me your sins.
My sins. God, where do I start?
It's okay. You can tell me other things. The words spoken here are only between you and me and everyone else.
Who is everyone else? I don't see them. I don't know.
Give a confession from this weekend.
A confession from this weekend.
Sunday.
Puppy here? There's a request for puppy.
There is a puppy. We can show puppy at the very end for sure. He will. We have nicknamed the studio after Mushi and after we're gonna call it Mushi's Grove, like it was called on the Driss books. And so that is now the name of the studio is Mushi's Grove because he pretty much runs this place at this point now. So, my confession. Oh, Father. So my confession, I get something from this weekend. I tend to get very frustrated and like
Really?
probably overreact sometimes.
Really?
When like the DM doesn't give me what I think I want. I am one of those players. I'm a total girl. Like if I roll, like my biggest thing is if I roll a crit on a check, right? And like I've been told crits on skills don't matter. Don't matter.
They don't.
And so like for me, if I crit and I don't want to feel like I wasted it. So like when I crit on a check and like
Do you just kind of gloss?
and then something happens that goes against that check, I tend to get very angry and my face will flush red and I'm just like
Did
because
that happen this weekend? Who was at your table?
Josh was the DM,
Uh-huh.
which is aka the Cleric,
Yeah.
and we were in the mansion and I had been like, okay, I'm standing in the room in this empty mansion. I want to listen and I want to see if I hear any noises. Like, is there people walking? Is there something moving?
Yeah.
And I crit, and on top of my extra skills, I had gotten like 20 something or whatever, right? And he's like, you hear absolutely nothing. And I'm like, okay, cool. We go in a room.
That's good.
Right.
That's a good sign.
And we get in a room, and immediately, boom, we get bombarded by people that come running out. I'm like, what? I should have heard them. Like, what would they just say like this? They know that she's listening. We can't let her hear us. And then they're going to tippy-toe out and then wait for us. Like, that really got me, that grind my gear. But
They grind your gear.
It grinds my gear. But the DM was the one in charge, and so. But the DM heard about it later that night when we got home.
Grinds my gears.
Grinds your gears.
When I kill my fiance and then she yelled at me for 3 hours.
Yes, us women do not like when our men who DM do things that are against what we wanted to happen.
I killed Katie one time and she wouldn't let it go for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, see?
No, she hasn't let it go.
She hasn't let it go. She remembers. I had a problem of health.
Oh no, we never forget. It's like there's a memorial in our brain about it, and we're just like,
I'm just gonna put a star next to that.
Oh, you want me to make you what tonight? Do you remember that time you killed me?
3 years ago on November 22nd
Yeah.
at 10:13.
Make your own dinner.
Just like,
It was a crescent moon. Everything. The traffic on I-5 was awful.
Elephants never forget.
No, us elephants do not ever forget.
Toot toot. So my confession for this week, that's way better. So what do I have to really confess?
Mikey, a lot, I'm sure.
Nothing. I'm innocent. Completely innocent.
Proven guilty.
Guilt. I would have to say that I am guilty of one particular instance of, like, I died. So my confession is that my character died, like, pure death, and I was like, I'm still alive. I'm, like, throwing death saves. I super died. Yeah.
And no one was paying attention, so you were like, nope, got that save.
Well, I got hit for 36 points of damage. I'm a wizard with a +1 in con, and I'm sure the DM knew, but we kind of like let it. I mean, I was like, oh, I'm down.
Oh, shame! The DM knows your name.
Circle, dot. Now I've got my undead.
Your
slot.
booty shot.
Get. I think that's, I don't...
Before I show the dog, I gotta show off my really cool Death Save shirt that I got. So it's got pockets, right? I mean, this is a really, really cool shirt. Look at the back. Isn't that with the Death Knight? Gosh.
That's pretty dope.
I just have to show it off. It's really, really cool. All right.
Spoilers, we're going to get our own apparel eventually at one of these times. Some cool threads. We have brought Mushi, who is free. Oh, Mushi had a friend the other day.
Ginkgo.
No. Ahsoka.
Oh, Ahsoka too. Yes.
So apparently we're full of dogs here. Kenobi-san brought his dog, Ahsoka, and they were running around the studio causing. But yeah, Mushi had a friend, and they were running around and playing, and knocked over some lights, and
that's why it's Mushi. He runs this place. He does whatever the hell he wants.
Mushi was eating cords.
I was about to get mad, and the guys are like, "Oh no, it's fine," and I'm like, "Okay."
I mean, how much damage could he really do?
Just knocking lights over and chewing on cords, and I was like, "It's okay."
It was adorable. It was so cute. Hello.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you guys can give us a follow and maybe encourage people on following us, pass the word around, we would really appreciate it. We're slowly growing, and we are going to be adding more shows. We will have a schedule that will be up on the Facebook and on the website coming up soon, of not just the shows, but also of our events, so that you can come and make sure that you show up to the events, or even contact us if you're interested in joining the team to admin or DM any of our events. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Please like us on Facebook, and again, subscribe to our YouTube.
Yes, if you don't get a chance to watch these, or you want to recap and see Mushi again to your heart's content, you can always check us out on YouTube.
It is edited on YouTube. We try to edit some of our naughty adult things so that it can be a little bit more family friendly on the YouTube, but some things sneak by. Did
something sneak by that I didn't catch it?
On the first episode, but that's okay. We won't talk about that.
Oh!
Yeah.
I remember the first episode.
But again, please let your friends know, let anybody that you know that likes to play any sort of role-playing game to please check us out, and most importantly, give us a follow, especially on Twitch and on our YouTube. That would be fantastic and helpful, and thank you.
Yeah.
And next week we might be playing a quick game, and kind of show you how the dynamics of it work, especially for 5e, or we might be playing a completely different game that we are actually going to be taking under our wing.
That is true. Stay tuned for an amazing and spontaneous episode next Tuesday.
Yes.
For your D&D talk, and eventually at some point, I think we're going to get into like role play, Cleric games talk. So tune in for noises and sounds. Stop being so cute, mushy. And with that, I think we're good.
We bid you adieu.
Adieu.